Would you water this aloe today? At first glance, most people would say yes. The leaves look a little curled. They seem softer than usual. The plant may even lean slightly to one side, making it look tired and thirsty. It feels natural to reach for the watering can. After all, that's what we do when many plants begin to droop. But this is where aloe surprises almost everyone. Many aloe plants begin struggling after just one extra week of unnecessary watering. Yet the very same plant can often look healthier after spending 2 weeks without another drop of water. It sounds backward, but aloe doesn't always ask for help in the same way other houseplants do. Sometimes the healthiest thing you can do for an aloe plant is absolutely nothing. By the end of this video, you'll know the simple sign that tells you when your aloe truly needs water. It isn't based on the calendar, and it isn't just about how the leaves look. After watching aloe plants grow through hot summers, cool winters, rainy seasons, and dry months, one pattern keeps appearing again and again. Healthy aloe plants reward patience far more often than constant attention. If your aloe looks confusing right now, you're not doing anything wrong. This is a mistake almost every gardener makes at some point. Aloe simply speaks a different language than many other plants. Before explaining why this happens, it helps to understand how aloe has survived for thousands of years in places where rain may not fall for weeks at a time. Most flowering plants tell us they need water by becoming soft and droopy. Their leaves lose moisture quickly because they depend on regular watering to replace what is lost each day. Over time, many gardeners learn to recognize these signs and respond without much thought. Aloe is different. It comes from dry environments where rain is unpredictable. Instead of expecting frequent water, aloe learned to prepare for long dry periods. It stores water inside its thick, fleshy leaves, almost like a natural water tank. That stored moisture allows the plant to continue living comfortably long after the soil has dried. Because of this, the signs we usually trust can become misleading. A slightly tired-looking aloe does not always mean it is desperate for water. Sometimes it simply means the plant is using the water it carefully stored earlier. This is a normal part of its life. Imagine filling a water bottle before leaving on a long walk. You would expect the bottle to become lighter as you drink from it. That doesn't mean you are in danger the moment the bottle is no longer full. It simply means you prepared ahead of time. Your aloe does something very similar. Its leaves slowly share their stored water with the rest of the plant whenever fresh water isn't available. That is exactly what they were designed to do. Many beginners see this natural process and immediately think something is wrong. In reality, the aloe may simply be doing its job. This is why aloe often tricks even experienced gardeners. The leaves are giving you clues, but many of us have learned to read those clues the wrong way. Instead of asking only, "How do the leaves look?" it helps to ask another question. What is happening inside the plant? That simple change in thinking can prevent many watering mistakes before they ever happen. One of the biggest reasons aloe struggles has nothing to do with poor care. It comes from good intentions. Many people love caring for their plants. They create routines because routines feel responsible. Every Sunday morning, they water the houseplants. Every weekend, they check every pot. Sometimes they add a little water every few days just to be safe. The problem is that plants do not own calendars. The calendar doesn't know whether the soil is still wet. It doesn't know whether last week was cool and cloudy or warm and sunny. It doesn't know if your home is dry because the heater has been running or humid because it has been raining outside. The soil knows. Healthy gardening begins when we learn to trust the condition of the soil more than the date on the calendar. Some weeks your aloe may need water sooner. Other times it may comfortably wait much longer. Both situations can be perfectly normal. Many senior gardeners have shared the same concern over the years. I haven't watered my aloe for nearly 3 weeks. Am I hurting it? Often the answer is no. In many homes, especially during cooler months, the soil stays moist far longer than people realize. Adding more water before the roots have had time to dry can slowly create problems that remain hidden beneath the surface. Unlike dry leaves, unhealthy roots cannot be seen right away. That is why overwatering often surprises people. The plant may still look green while damage quietly develops below the soil. So if schedules are not the answer, what should we trust instead? To answer that, we first need to understand one of aloe's greatest survival secrets. Think about a camel crossing a desert. It survives long journeys because it carries supplies with it. It doesn't need fresh water every single day. An aloe plant works in a surprisingly similar way. Those thick leaves are not just beautiful. They are storage tanks filled with moisture collected during earlier watering. Every healthy drink prepares the plant for days or even weeks ahead. That is why watering deeply is often much better than watering lightly every few days. A deep watering fills those natural storage tanks. Then the plant slowly lives from those reserves while the roots enjoy something just as important as water: fresh air. Many people forget that roots need oxygen. When soil stays constantly wet, tiny spaces between soil particles fill with water instead of air. Healthy roots struggle to breathe. Over time, they become weaker and less able to absorb nutrients. Allowing the soil to dry gives those air spaces time to return. The roots become stronger, healthier, and more resilient. This dry period is not a punishment for the plant. It is part of its normal rhythm. In nature, aloe experiences rain followed by dry weather. Its roots evolved to expect both conditions. Constant moisture is actually less natural than occasional dryness. This explains why watering less often can produce healthier growth over time. The goal is not to keep the soil dry forever. The goal is to create a gentle cycle of drinking, resting, drying, and drinking again. Once you begin seeing aloe this way, many confusing signs suddenly make much more sense. In the next part of the video, we'll look at the surprising clues hidden in the leaves themselves. You'll discover why slight wrinkles are sometimes perfectly normal, how to tell the difference between healthy dryness and dangerous overwatering, and the simple finger test that removes most of the guesswork. You'll also learn why two healthy aloe plants growing in different homes can need completely different watering schedules. Even when they look almost identical, as you become more familiar with your aloe, you'll notice that the leaves are always communicating with you. The challenge is learning what they are actually saying. One of the biggest surprises for many gardeners is that slight wrinkles are not always a sign of trouble. In fact, they can be a sign that the plant is simply using the water it stored earlier. Think of it like a sponge that has been gently squeezed. It still has moisture inside, but it is no longer completely full. A healthy aloe may develop a few fine wrinkles or feel just a little less firm after a long dry period. Growth may slow for a while. None of these changes automatically mean the plant is in danger. They often show that the aloe is doing exactly what nature designed it to do. This is where patience becomes one of the most valuable gardening skills. Instead of reacting immediately, take a closer look. Are the leaves still mostly green? Does the plant still look stable? Is the base firm? If the answer is yes, there may be no reason to worry. On the other hand, there are signs that deserve more attention. Leaves that become mushy instead of firm are a warning. A yellow or brown base where the leaves meet the soil can also signal trouble. If the soil stays wet for long periods and you notice an unpleasant smell coming from the pot, the roots may be struggling. These warning signs often point to too much water rather than too little. That surprises many people because the damaged plant can sometimes look similar to one that is thirsty. This is why guessing can lead to mistakes. The dangerous signs are not always the dramatic ones. So how can you know when it is actually time to water? Fortunately, you don't need expensive tools or complicated equipment. One of the simplest methods is also one of the most reliable. Start with your finger. Gently place it into the soil as far as it comfortably reaches, usually 2 or 3 inches. If the soil still feels cool or damp below the surface, your aloe probably has enough moisture for now. If the soil is dry all the way down, that is a much stronger sign that watering may be needed. Another helpful habit is lifting the pot. This may seem simple, but it tells you a great deal. A pot filled with wet soil feels noticeably heavier than one filled with dry soil. After doing this a few times, you'll begin recognizing the difference without even thinking about it. Then look at the leaves once more. Are they still firm and upright? Or have they become noticeably softer while the soil is completely dry? When several clues point in the same direction, your decision becomes much easier. This approach is very different from watering every Saturday or every first day of the month. Instead of following a routine, you begin following the plant itself. That change makes gardening feel calmer and more enjoyable because you are responding to real conditions instead of trying to predict them. Another reason watering schedules can be confusing is that every home creates a different environment. Perhaps your neighbor waters every 10 days while your aloe only needs water every 3 weeks. Neither of you is necessarily right or wrong. The difference may simply come from your surroundings. During summer, bright sunlight and warmer temperatures cause soil to dry more quickly. In winter, shorter days and cooler temperatures slow everything down. The same aloe that drinks every 2 weeks in July may comfortably wait a month during January. Humidity also plays a part. Homes with dry indoor air often lose moisture faster than homes where the air stays naturally humid. The pot itself matters too. Clay pots slowly allow moisture to escape through their sides, helping the soil dry faster. Plastic pots hold moisture much longer because very little water escapes through the container. Even the location inside your home changes the story. An aloe growing near a bright window with afternoon sunshine may use water much faster than another sitting across the room in softer light. Outdoor plants experience changing winds, rainfall, and temperature swings that indoor plants never face. All of these small differences add up. That is why 2 healthy aloe plants can have completely different watering needs while both remain perfectly healthy. Once you understand this, there is no need to compare your routine with someone else's. Your aloe is responding to your home, not theirs. Sometimes the most encouraging lessons come from plants that seem beyond saving. Imagine an aloe that has been watered every few days for several months. At first it looked healthy. Then the leaves slowly became soft. The lower leaves started turning yellow. The owner became worried and added even more water, hoping to help. Instead, the plant continued getting worse. Finally, they stopped watering and allowed the soil to dry completely. For the first week, nothing seemed to improve. In fact, the aloe sometimes looked even more tired. Many people would have given up at this point. But something important was happening where no one could see it. The roots finally had a chance to breathe again. Over the next several weeks, healthy new roots slowly began replacing the damaged ones. Little by little, the leaves became firmer. New growth appeared from the center of the plant. The recovery did not happen overnight. It happened quietly. That is often how healthy gardens grow. Real improvement usually begins below the surface before it becomes visible above it. The roots recover before the leaves tell the story. This is another reason patience is so valuable. Plants work on their own timetable, not ours. Now that we understand why aloe behaves this way, caring for it becomes much simpler. When it is time to water, give the soil a thorough drink until excess water flows out through the drainage holes. Then allow the soil to dry naturally before watering again. This deep but infrequent watering matches the way aloe grows in nature. Place the plant where it receives plenty of bright light. Many aloe plants enjoy several hours of indirect light or gentle morning sun. If strong afternoon sunlight is very intense in your area, especially during the hottest part of summer, a little protection can prevent unnecessary stress. Good drainage is equally important. Always use a pot with drainage holes so extra water has somewhere to go. Never allow the pot to sit in a saucer filled with water for long periods. Empty the saucer after watering so the roots are not left standing in moisture. Every now and then, rotate the pot a little. Plants naturally lean toward light. Turning the pot helps the aloe grow more evenly over time without any extra effort. Notice how none of these habits require constant work. They are small, gentle routines built around observation instead of action. That is often the secret to successful gardening. The healthiest plants are not always the ones receiving the most attention. They are often the ones receiving the right attention at the right time. As your confidence grows, you may find yourself checking your aloe differently. Instead of asking, "When did I water it last?" you begin asking, "What is the plant telling me today?" That small shift changes everything. Gardening becomes less about fixing problems and more about understanding natural patterns. If you're comfortable sharing, I'm curious how long your oldest aloe plant has been growing, or how often you usually water it. Your experience may encourage another gardener who is still learning. If you found today's conversation helpful, I'd love to have you join us by subscribing for more simple gardening tips created especially for seniors and anyone who enjoys caring for plants at a comfortable zone.